Hello, everyone. I'm Sahir Advani. I'm a postdoctoral researcher at the School of Marine Sciences of the University of Maine. I work with Professor Joshua Stoll, who is an assistant professor of marine policy, and together we're working to understand the nation's direct seafood marketing sector. This project is being done in close collaboration with the US Department of Agriculture, the USDA, as well as NOAA Fisheries. So direct seafood marketing are these short seafood supply chains that identify seafood harvesters and provide direct benefits to them, as well as coastal communities that they are a part of. Direct seafood marketing models can come in many forms. You can have seafood harvesters. They can also involve off the boat and off the dock sales, as well as community supported fisheries and restaurants and farmers markets. You can also include retail and online sales done by seafood harvesters, as well as sales to institutions like schools and hospitals. In some instances, direct seafood marketing models can also include wholesalers that identify seafood harvesters at the point of sales. Now, over the course of the pandemic, a lot of seafood supply chains were disrupted. However, direct marketing channels, particularly direct seafood marketing channels, faced a bump in direct seafood sales. They also were more resilient to the shocks in supply chains because of their really small and localized supply chains. For many folks in New England and in the Northeast of the United States, direct seafood sales were seen as an adaptation strategy by a lot of commercial seafood harvesters. NOAA Fisheries has been collecting data on the US commercial and recreational fisheries for several years now. However, the data on the commercial fishing industry is aggregated. And so there's no separate way to understand what the direct seafood marketing sector looks like, or as well as like the local seafood sector, what that looks like. So fortunately for us, there exist other models that have been working to understand what local food marketing practices look like. And so a classic example of that is USDA's Local Food Marketing Practices Survey. This survey has been conducted for a couple of years now, and it's provided some valuable data in terms of how farmers across the United States are engaging in local and direct sales. So while this has provided valuable knowledge about the size of the local food sector, it's also been able to help policymakers in providing funding and grants to the sector. So for example, the results of the 2020 survey helped the US allocate $90 million in technical support and grants just for these small, local and regionally focused farming operations. Now, there exist voluntary databases of direct seafood marketers. A classic example of this is the Local Catch Network Seafood Finder, as well as the Local Catch Network, which is a network of networks of practitioners that engage in direct and local seafood sales. The Local Catch Network is housed at the University of Maine. And while it still is a voluntary database, our plan is, or our hope is, to really scale up the number of folks that are involved in this network, as well as potentially increasing the volume of this database that exists. So we're doing this through two major methods. The first method, which is currently underway, consists of a short questionnaire. This questionnaire has been running since July, and we'll be wrapping it up in October. And it's basically a short questionnaire that's been sent to direct seafood or to seafood harvesters across the states to understand what their marketing practices look like. The results of this short questionnaire will then feed into a full-length survey that we'll be conducting between May and July next year in 2023. And the purpose of that full-length survey is to, again, understand the marketing practices of direct seafood businesses as well as direct seafood marketers. So the image on the right is the sample questionnaire form that is being sent to commercial seafood harvesters across the United States. So we've sent nearly 40,000 of these questionnaires to fishermen across the US. And the map here just represents just the concentration or the number of questionnaires sent to seafood harvesters in each state. What this questionnaire looks like in terms of getting it off the ground and launching it out into the wider United States involves printing out these survey forms with the help of the UMaine print and mail office, mailing them via the US Postal Service, and then when we receive the responses back, really carefully sorting them and recording the responses. And so the results of this short questionnaire will then feed into the full-length survey. At the same time, we also are relying upon existing databases of direct seafood marketers, as well as web scrapes or approaches that where we're literally trawling the internet for direct seafood business websites to basically create one composite database of direct seafood marketers and businesses to contact for the full-length survey that will be launched next summer. So you might be wondering, how is this data helpful and what is the value of it? Well, this data, the data these surveys will collect, can provide valuable information about the size and the diversity of the direct seafood marketing sector, and also the economic contributions of the sector to the larger seafood economy. For direct seafood marketers, it'll help them understand regional trends and marketing practices that seem to be effective in their larger region. And for federal agencies such as the USDA as well as NOAA Fisheries, understand this data will help them justify investment in the form of grants, technical assistance, but also in understanding policies that support or hinder the growth and development of the direct seafood marketing sector. Ultimately, this research has a large impact in terms of its ability to strengthen local and domestic seafood systems in the United States by recognizing and understanding just how big and how diverse the sector is, but it sheds a spotlight on the sector. But at the same time, it also highlights strategies that are beneficial to the sector, and as well as weak points that could potentially be supported through government and research support. For folks within the sector, businesses that are actively engaged within the sector, it has impact in, again, raising their profile and their profile in the larger seafood economy, but as well as highlighting practices that might be beneficial to them and may have an impact on the growth of their businesses and the growth of the larger seafood economy. And at the end of the day, the impact of this research will also strengthen the local and regional seafood systems, and therefore help larger communities than the US public have better and access to nutritious seafood. So there are a lot of folks to acknowledge and a lot of institutions to acknowledge, with the main ones being the University of Maine, NOAA Fisheries, the USD, as well as the local catch network. At the same time, there are also several collaborators and partners within these organizations that have been extremely helpful in supporting the rollout of these surveys, in helping administer and conduct the surveys as well as in providing data assistance to help create and generate these databases that we've been relying on. So I'd like to just acknowledge these individuals. And with that, I'd like to thank you for hearing about my research. And I recommend you check out the link listed at the bottom of the slide to know more about this research. We would appreciate feedback. So please feel free to get in touch with me at any of these channels listed below. And thank you and have a great day.